Hi everybody, it's Nicki here, and I'm actually filming this on a Thursday, but I'm filming it for Manuscript Monday, so I'll be posting it then. Please don't let the sunny weather here fool you. I am rugged up in my jumper because it's only about 7 degrees, despite all the bright sunshine that's going on at the moment. So, as I said before, I did a Manuscript Monday video a little while ago, and I said I'm not going to do them every week, which is true. However, if I feel that I've got something fun to say, then I will film one. And I thought today I would come and have a chat to you because I've got a little bit of a milestone going on. I'm working on this draft of my story, and I think I've reached about the midway point in this first draft. And I thought it's worth talking about this story because this one has been very atypical for me. Usually when I start a story, the first draft is, I want to say pretty clean, and perhaps clean is not the right word, but nothing changes too much, I would say. My first drafts are usually pretty solid. In the second go through, I'll be going back in and adding detail because I don't plan. My first drafts are really just working out the story. The second drafts, I go in and fill in all the detail about the world, the characters that I haven't put in that first just plotting version, and then I start editing from through the third and fourth draft and getting it ready for submission. This story though has been a bit of a different one for me. I had what I thought was a really strong idea, and I started writing it, and I very quickly realised it wasn't going to work, at least not in the way I'd intended it. I had this character and I wanted him to fall in love with this other character. However, the way I'd originally planned the story, they weren't going to end up together by the end, or they were either not going to end up together and it was all going to be a very bittersweet romance lost kind of deal, or they were going to end up together but I was going to have a big moral question mark hanging over the story. So I realised, like probably about 10 chapters in, that this was never going to work, or maybe 7, 8 chapters in. I had a bit of a rethink, and I realised that I could get around it, and I could fix this potential problem by having my original story arc end halfway through the book rather than at the end. And I could bring in this sort of second part of the story, still within one book. It's not going to be a series or anything, but I could sort of hit this climax at the middle, and you sort of think it feels like it's over, but then something's going to happen that throws everything up in the air again. And that would allow me to address the moral issue that was going to be a problem, and also allow for a happy ending. I mean, I don't believe that every book has to have a happy ending. However, it is very clear that in the market, people do prefer happy endings. So if I want to promote my book as which I tend to want to do, I probably wasn't going to have much success if I didn't give everyone at least a happy for now, if not a happy ever after. So I'm feeling actually really confident now that I've made that decision and I've gotten further through, and I'm just actually at the moment, what I'm up to writing is that sort of midpoint climax moment, a sort of big reveal. And I'm feeling really positive. I think the story's going well. In making that change, I've also got a better sense of my characters. I thought I knew them quite well before I started, and usually I do have a good sense of my characters, but making this change, I think, has allowed me to explore some different aspects of their personalities that wouldn't have come out had I stuck to just the original plan. I think it's allowed them to become more well-rounded within the atmosphere of the book. I mean, I think I knew them well. I'd written really good profiles for each of them, but some of their personality traits weren't really going to come out in the original arc, whereas I can really explore them in a lot more detail in this new version. So I'm really excited about it. However, because I have made this change partway through, I think this is the first time I'm not going to have a really solid first draft. And by that I mean I am going to be going back and tweaking things a lot more than I normally would do in a second draft. Normally the second draft is just padding things out, padding out the world building. But I think this time I will have to be making some tweaks and changes to some of the stuff at the beginning to reflect the alterations that I've made later on. And I'm looking forward to doing that actually. I think I've got a few notes written down. My aim is still to get a first draft finished by the end of October, if not sooner. And depends how soon I finish. I may try to have a quick look through again before the end of the year. Otherwise, I'm going to be setting it aside and coming back to it late January, early February, when I'll be starting that major second draft. My aim is to probably have it ready to submit to a publisher by this time next year at the latest. I think I'm pretty much on track for that at the moment. So it's been a real learning curve, this book, because it's not come quite as easily as some of my other stories. However, I think it has the potential to be one of my best works. It's maybe going to take a little bit more time than some of the others I've written, because it's not quite so smooth a start. However, I think it's going to be worth it. I'm really looking forward to getting to a submission stage and seeing what I've got. And I mean, I'm hoping the publisher's going to like it and the readers are going to like it. I'm starting to fall in love with my characters. I'm going to be doing some writing this afternoon, and each day I'm kind of like really keen to get through all the other stuff I have to do and get writing so that I can spend some time with them again. So I thought it was worth mentioning because there's been a definite change of pace for me in terms of writing. There's been a few more starts and stops than I usually have, but I think that is going to end up with a pretty strong story from that at the end. As I said previously, I do tend to be very secretive about my stories until they're really contracted. And I'm going to try to, I mean, I'll still be probably a bit secretive because that's just my nature, but I'm going to try to talk to you all a bit more about them as I'm writing. I figure it can't hurt. I mean, if I tell you a bit about my stories and you're interested in them, then that's hopefully going to make you all the more excited when they come out to want to go and find them and build up a bit of pre-release interest, I guess you'd say. So you may have seen the other day I created a family crest for one of my characters in the story. I've also been doing a lot of room and house plans and things, so I know exactly where the layout of how the layout of their homes and their offices and everything look, which is a lot more detail than I would normally be doing at this stage. I have to say, I would normally be thinking about that sort of stuff a bit later, particularly stuff like I mean, maybe not the layouts. I need to know where their rooms are and things, but in terms of stuff like the family crest and all that sort of additional information, that's probably something I'd be working on more as I'm editing. So, but doing it early, I think that's really added to the character building as well. So I don't think I've got too much more to tell you about it today. As I said, it's a bit of a milestone because I am about halfway through. I'm reaching a crux point in the story at the moment. It doesn't have a title. I would tell you a title, but it doesn't have one yet, which again is very unusual for me because usually the title comes very soon after I start writing, if not before I start writing. So not having been able to decide on a title yet is also new for me, but I think that part of that is the way the story's changed, and I kind of feel that I need to wait and see how everything plays out before I can pick that title this time. So when I have one, I'll share it with you. For any of you who didn't watch my previous video where I talked about this work, it's an MM, as I said. It's a paranormal piece. It's going to be novel length, and it features vampires, fae, witches, a little bit shifters, just as a lesser part. There's going to be plenty of adventure and mystery. There's some murders going on within the supernatural community, and it's set in London. So that's about all I can tell you today, but I'm pleased with the progress, despite it being a bit of a bumpy ride so far. I think now that I've overcome that hurdle with the plotting and the ending, I think it's going to be a lot smoother from now on. So I'm looking to really racing through the rest of this first draft over the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks probably. So I'll end there for today. I'll talk to you all again soon. I'll be back later this week with some different vlog material. But until I next have something to tell you on Manuscript Monday, bye for now.